Chapter 1. Tapping techniques can bring relief to individuals in any form. A lot has been said about tapping, which can also be regarded as EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques. Tapping techniques are a combination of ancient Chinese acupressure and modern psychology and are said to heal and correct a vast number of issues. They work to relieve neck pain, health concerns, addictions, weight issues, relationship challenges, and financial problems. The first 2 chapters of this summary are very important because they explain the importance of tapping and everything that follows. Chapter 1 presents the discovery and history of tapping and the most recent scientific findings that support it. Chapter 2 breaks down the EFT process, describing how it works and the tapping experience. One of the most exciting things about tapping is that you can immediately feel the difference it makes on your body and mind as you undergo it. Once you've learned the basics of the tapping process and you've experienced its power, you need to be ready for change. Underneath the desire and need for change are several unconscious or semi-conscious ideas and beliefs, human patterns that stop our desired change from happening. This summary describes how to apply EFT to human patterns and get the best results, how you can use EFT to immediately reduce stress levels in your life, how EFT helps relieve the general state of anxiety and feeling of being overwhelmed that many of us face. The correlation between negative childhood events and experiences and current circumstances is also described in this summary. The summary also shows a general view of how stress affects the body and how you can use EFT to aid in healing and relieve physical pain. Did you know? Through tapping, your painful memories can change and become bearable. Chapter 2. Water phobia is historically the first thing tapping was used to solve. Tapping was discovered by Dr. Roger Callahan, a psychologist and the developer of thought field therapy. His discovery came when helping a client named Jane overcome a water phobia she'd had from childhood. At the time, Jane was afraid of swimming and water in all forms, from bathtubs to rain, rivers, and so on. Her level of fear was so high that she couldn't bathe her 2 children. She had been plagued by her water nightmares for years. She was 40 years old when she approached Dr. Callahan for help, and he was determined to help her. All truth passes through 3 stages. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. Third, it is accepted as being self-evident. Arthur Schopenhauer. Dr. Callahan had done his best. He had treated Jane for a year using all the traditional therapy techniques he knew. And as fate would have it, Dr. Callahan had been curious about the functioning of the body and mind around that time, so he had been studying the body's meridian points. Meridians, the basis of the ancient Chinese medical system of acupuncture, are defined as energy channels that carry the vital life force, or qi, to the organs and other systems of the body. The meridians run up and down either side of the body, and each meridian is associated with a different body organ, stomach, gallbladder, kidney, and so on. Each meridian also has what's called an end point, a specific point on the surface of the body where you can access the energy channel. This point can be manipulated using acupuncture needles or a simple touch to balance or unblock the energy flow through that particular meridian. In one of Jane's therapy sessions, she had mentioned to Dr. Callahan that the thoughts of encountering water usually caused a terrible feeling in the pit of her stomach. This further gave Dr. Callahan the insight to tap on Jane's stomach meridian endpoint, just below her eye, to see if it might alleviate the negative sensation. He did this, and to everyone's surprise, after just a few minutes of tapping, she said the horrible feeling was gone. From that day forward, her water phobia and her nightmares about water were gone for good. Chapter 3. Tapping works best if you can accurately identify your MPI and create a good setup statement. The success he saw with his first tapping client encouraged Dr. Callahan to deepen his study of meridian endpoints. He spent time exploring the combination of traditional psychotherapy with tapping on different parts of the body. He also developed a set of algorithms and a sequence of tapping to address different issues. Gary Craig extended the study by making tapping easier. He created a single sequence, which is the basis of what he later termed EFT, short for Emotional Freedom Techniques. Using the 8 simple steps of the tapping technique is easy. Choose your most pressing issue, MPI, and create a reminder phase. Rate the intensity of your MPI from 0 to 10 using a distress scale. Form a setup statement. According to Ortner, a basic setup statement is something like, even though, fill in the blank with your MPI, I deeply and completely accept myself. Tap on the karate chop point on your body while repeating your setup statement 3 times. Tap through the 8 points in the EFT sequence while saying your reminder phrase out loud. Tap 5 to 7 times on each point. The 8 points referenced in this step will be listed later in this chapter. After tapping the 8 points in the sequence, take a deep breath, relax, and try again. Rate the intensity of the problem you're addressing using the 8 to 10 scale. This will help you see your progress. Repeat the steps as necessary. Stop only when you get the results you want. Everyone has an issue, problem, or challenge that dominates their mental and emotional space. Tapping helps you get rid of them. Some common MPIs include complaints such as, my coworker gets on my nerves. I've had terrible fatigue for days. The kids are stressing me out, and so on. After knowing your MPI, giving it an intensity number on the 0 to 10 scale, and having formed a setup statement, the next step is to start tapping. You can tap with whichever hand feels most comfortable to you. The 8 important points of the EFT sequence are eyebrow, side of eye, under nose, chin, collarbone, upper arm, top of head. Don't forget to keep repeating the sequence until you feel relieved. Did you know? The karate chop point is located at the center of the back of your hand, between the top of the wrist and the base of the 5th finger. Chapter 4. Tapping is about listening to your body while going through the processes involved. The previous chapter was more about the theoretical aspects of tapping. We will get more practical in this chapter. Let's imagine you feel overwhelmed with work and the chores at home. The workload is taking its toll on you, and you just need a break from all the stress. Here's how to go about relieving your mind and body. First things first, your MPI, the most pressing issue, could go like, I'm tired and I have too much to do. Next, give it a number on the 0 to 10 scale, 10 being absolutely true, 0 denoting not true at all. If you're really stressed, you could tag it as an 8, 9, or 10. After that, form a setup statement, something like, even though my to-do list is long and frustrating me, I deeply and completely accept myself. When you're done with all of those, begin to tap, speaking the setup statement as you do. Also, you can identify the primary thoughts or events causing you stress and give them intensity numbers on the same 10-point scale. The more specific you can get about your situation, the better results you'll have with tapping. Repeat your setup statement or any positive statement 3 times, and then tap through the 8 points. If an issue pops in your mind while addressing this issue of stress, don't neglect it. Tap through and away from it, then continue with the main issue. Repeat the practice until you feel relieved from your stress. Sometimes it can be confusing for people to decide when they're done addressing their MPIs. So usually it is recommended that you keep going until you get your issue down to a 1 or 2 on the 10-point scale. While tapping, listen to your intuition and body. When your body says you need to stop, please do and continue later. Did you know? For every 1,000 war survivors, 2 or 3 will require follow-up trauma relief support through tapping. Chapter 5. You can overcome your resistance to change. One of the things tapping can do is help you overcome your resistance to change. Whether it's to heal a broken heart, lose weight, heal a physical condition, improve your financial situation, improve your existing relationship, or attract a new one, tapping can be used to bring about the desired change. Many people can't change their lives because of an underlying resistance that they may not even be aware of. Most people don't like change, and it's usually easier for things to stay the same. It takes less effort for your life to remain unchanged, so when you start contemplating a change in an aspect of your life, resistance can come up. Consciously, every human being wants to succeed, but sadly, the unconscious often has its own agenda. When it comes to improving your life, your unconscious mind runs the show. The unconscious mind is the hidden driver of your thoughts and decisions, and it mainly survives based on experiences and programming from your childhood. For instance, the more experiences you have of failing, the less confidence you have. The fear of change can also show up through procrastination, self-sabotage, perfectionism, lack of clarity, indecision. If you understand your resistance to change, you will easily be able to get over it and move past it. Tapping out your past is also possible, especially when working on childhood issues. You may need to go back in time and say what you wish you could have said. Start by going back to the memory of the event or experience. Replay it in your mind. Then, whenever it feels right, say aloud what you wish you could have said back then. Tap along as you speak. Follow your intuition and speak your truth. On rare occasions, you might hear the other person speak back to you. If so, simply respond in turn. Continue tapping and talking until you feel whole and the situation has been resolved and healed. This process is beneficial because it helps people get clear on what they want to, in the present time, say to the people involved. Did you know? Sometimes strong emotions or power imbalances that can be present in relationships are difficult to resolve and can only be addressed in a counseling situation. Chapter 6. Tapping can relieve physical pain and heal the body. Nick and Jessica Ortner are siblings and the EFT thought leaders. They once had an argument on whether tapping can heal a pain that has clear physical causes. Jessica disagreed, arguing that physical pain is not psychological, but Nick insisted. And an experience they had where a tapping client with a physical injury was healed proved Nick was right. You can tap away any physical pain or diagnosis. When you think about any pain you might be experiencing, ask yourself questions like, what do I know to be true about this pain? What have doctors said? Take a few minutes to pen down the answer to these questions in as much detail as possible. Repeat your positive declarations concerning the pain, and then look for places where you feel tension, stress, or pain. Roll your neck around and feel for any tightness. Inhale and notice how deep the breath is. Ask yourself, what can I learn from the way I am feeling right now? When you have an answer, do some tapping on it. Tap on the symptoms you feel, the area you feel in your body, and the emotion associated with it. Watch how your whole body releases and relaxes when you tap and let go. Keep tapping until you feel different. The body has an innate ability to heal if you have faith that tapping can work for you. You can also tap away your financial problems and constraints. You can as well, through tapping, set new goals for yourself. However, you may not be able to do this in one session, so take your time with it. When we accept ourselves as we aren't settling or keeping the problem in place. We're showing love and compassion for ourselves, for our feelings, our situation, and our history. Nick Ortner. Conclusion. Doesn't it amaze you how little we know about nature, our bodies, and the world around us? If we would just increase our awareness level and keep an open mind, we would discover so many things in nature that will enhance the standards of our lives. Although acupuncture was known traditionally, Tapping wasn't a thing in the scientific world until Dr. Roger Callahan accidentally discovered it while trying to help a patient overcome her water phobia. Thanks to Dr. Callahan and the scientists after him, tapping techniques have become essential in our daily dealings. Tapping can help you overcome food cravings. It can help you lose weight confidently and efficiently. Tapping techniques can also help you build better relationships and make more money. One major challenge facing tapping is that individuals are easily distracted and forget that tapping is an easy solution to a wide range of problems. At its deepest level, the process of tapping is one of healing, releasing, and learning from past traumas and negative experiences. Through tapping, it is possible to live with happiness, joy, and peace. It is possible to be a shining light, as well as a beacon of hope and healing. Tapping can also help you deal with change and the processes involved. Speaking of change, always be kind to yourself when addressing your resistance to change. Recognize that it's an ongoing process and that you're not going to overcome every bit of resistance at once when tapping. It's important to have goals and reach for your dreams, but it's never a reason not to enjoy the present moment. Ultimately, it's the journey, not the result, that brings the most happiness. Jessica Ortner. Try this. Practice using the word choose instead of should when making declarations. Should is a word loaded with guilt, fear, shame, regret, and other negative emotions. Instead of saying, I should exercise more, I should eat better, I should work harder, and so on, say, I choose to exercise more. I choose to eat better. Practice it now. Say the words out loud.